Hello and welcome to the Nuclear Reactor, and today we'll be reacting to Carthus Dojo's What If Goku Was Sent to Beerus' Planet, Part 4. I hope y'all enjoyed the reactions this week. I almost didn't do them because today, the day I normally do my reaction videos, is my birthday, so I was going to give myself the week off. But then I thought, nah, I won't do that to y'all. I'll try to keep them consistent and stuff. So I'm getting them out and trying to do that for y'all, but cut me some slack because I've got so much studying and stuff to do with anatomy and human physiology, so I'm trying to get these out for y'all and stuff, so at least I'm getting something out for y'all. So I hope y'all enjoy this reaction. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and here we go. And yes, I know I said so like 100,000 times.
The god of destruction, Kakarot, has ended many of the universe's greatest threats. The last of the Saiyans and their warpath were ended. The root of evil, the galactic tyrant Frieza, was ended. The incarnation of mortal evil, Majin Buu and his warlock master Babidi, and their universal destruction were ended. By replacing Beerus as the god of destruction, Kakarot had raised the mortal level of Universe 7 to heights unseen. The ability of this god of destruction was far beyond any other. He was raised to be the perfect god, emotionless, cold, and decisive. Kakarot's utilitarian approach to godly duty is praised by Zeno and the Grand Priest. As such, Whis is also praised for having made the greatest god in the history of the multiverse. He continues to train, ever improving, and now that Super Saiyan God was essentially his base form, even that started to gain muscle mass. Things seemed like they were going well. However, not all was well within the limits of Universe 7.
Really?
While the head of the greatest empire in the history of Universe 7 was killed, the army itself still remained. It was tattered and scrambled, but they still existed. All they needed was someone to look to in order to reform. Lucky for them, such a person was ready to take over, or should I say, reclaim the empire he once held. Enraged by the death of his son, and further aggravated by the always vigilant eyes of the new god of destruction, King Cold was looking to reform his empire and take his revenge on the new god. Working with Beerus was easy. A superficial and lazy god is easy to manipulate into letting you do things, but Kakarot was no such god. Their new god is a Saiyan that had no emotions and no earthly attachments. To destroy this god would require raw power. You cannot manipulate someone who cares for nothing. After reclaiming control of the empire and pulling it back together, word reached Kakarot that Frieza had been replaced by his father. My lord, it appears that Frieza's father has gathered his family's empire and brought them back under his heel. What shall we do about this obvious slight against you? Kakarot replies, slights against me mean nothing, though we should pay the new emperor a visit to establish some ground rules. Frieza's path of senseless mortal destruction cannot be allowed to continue through his father. With that, Kakarot asks where the returning emperor is now. Whis says he...
So, he'll let, from what I gather, he'll let the emperor, King Cold, keep the empire so long as he follows a set of rules. Because Frieza was ruleless and just bloodshed nonstop, but his father...
He's on his ship, only 10 minutes away from where the planet is. Alright, let's pay Frieza's father a visit then. The two make their way to King Cold and his ship. Once they arrive, they remain outside the ship. Kakarot is cold, but respectful. He asks to be let in the ship, and so, cold soldiers ask if they should let him in. The king's face turns into a snarl, but he shakes it off and tells the men to let him in. The two enter the cockpit of the ship, and both bow to King Cold. To think, a god would bow to me. Beerus would never do such a thing during his time. Kakarot raises his head and says that he hopes they can work together in a way that betters the universe. King Cold puts on a smile and replies that he is currently revitalizing all the planets in his empire to give them better people and better quality of life. He wishes to see the universe prosper and is sorry that his son did not uphold that mission as he intended for him to. Kakarot at this point is clearly skeptical, but he has no evidence to do anything to King Cold. He could only hope that his instincts were wrong. Just to make sure King...
But you always trust your instincts, Goku. Trust your gut. It'll never let you down. Trust me, I know.
Cold kept to his word, though. He asked Whis to keep an eye on him. However, Whis suggested a better idea. Perhaps someone from the Galactic Patrol could monitor King Cold and his army for us. I believe their top agent Beerus would be a great fit for the job. Kakarot considers this for a moment and ultimately agrees to meet with Beerus and ask him to watch over King Cold's army and their actions. They arrive at the Galactic Patrol headquarters and find Beerus rather quickly. All of the other patrolmen are in shock that the God of Destruction...
Oh, okay. I was wondering who that was. I recognize him, but as of yet, I have not watched the Dragon Ball Super movie. I actually was able to download it to my phone, so I have it saved for a reaction when I get some time in the next couple months to do a long reaction like that too. Because trust me, all this studying and shit is just too much. But I've got to get perfect grades if I want to get into the program I'm trying to. So, I'll work on this, but yeah, let's keep going.
Destruction actually exists, but Beerus seems unfazed by this information. Beerus, it's been quite a while since I've seen you. Kakarot looks to Whis with an annoyed look. You didn't tell me he was an angel. Beerus asks Kakarot to remain quiet, as he's simply an angel in training and observing this universe to learn, so that is not information that is publicly known as of now. Kakarot brushes him off with a quick apology and asks Whis why he wants Beerus to watch King Cold for them. Whis replies that performing tasks ordered by the God of Destruction would be great training for this soon-to-be angel, as that is part of an angel's responsibilities. Kakarot thinks about it and ultimately agrees to let Beerus help them monitor the new Galactic Emperor. With the order given, Beerus heads off to monitor the area around King Cold, and Kakarot flies back to his own planet with Whis. Time passes before anything of note actually happens, but Beerus does finally contact Whis via his staff to inform his older brother that King Cold has been helping to restore not only planets that are inhabited by people in his empire, but he's also terraforming worlds to make them more inhabitable going forward. Kakarot lets out a sigh, not because he has any issue
Terraforming? What's that?
with King Cold doing this, but instead is annoyed that the Kaioshin hasn't already done something similar in order to raise the mortal level of their universe even further. Glad that his instincts were incorrect, Kakarot returns to his daily life of training, discussing potential plans for the universe with Whis, and resting. Things seemed almost too good to be true. And they were.
Yep.
King Cold was terraforming worlds and keeping true to his promise to increase the quality of life for the members of his empire. But this was all a guise. His good deeds were actually hiding his true intentions, hunting for powerful warriors that could potentially bolster his army enough and allow him to attack the god that took away his son, Kakarot. On the quest to find fighters, his army came across an inhospitable planet that seemed to only be home to monsters, a world called Vampa. Much like Chilai and Lemo did in Dragon Ball Super Broly, King Cold scouts would not only find Broly and Paragus, they would also notice the...
Damn it, spoilers, fuck! I should have known. That's not good for me. So, I'm gonna be spoiled, and I guess a little bit at least, but I'll go on with the reaction.
Incredible and unrestrained power of Broly. Word quickly reaches King Cold of the two Saiyan survivors, and the one that has power that's beyond comprehension. The king quickly has them brought to his ship, so he may inform them of the plans that will soon unfold. As they are brought on King Cold's ship, Beerus notices that these two Saiyans are new, and it was unlike King Cold to have any guests at all. Using his staff, he decided to spy on the conversation taking place, in case it was pertinent to the God of Destruction, Kakarot. King Cold opened by telling the two Saiyans of the fate of planet Vegeta, how they were two of the three
Also, I have another question. I don't know if it'd be a spoiler or not for the DBS movie, but is Beerus a god in training as well? So, in actuality, so then why would they need a god in training if, as far as I know, all the angels, angel in training, as all the angels are supposedly immortal? So then they keep working forever. So why would they need a new god, angel in training? Just wondering, curious.
Remaining Saiyans in the universe. Paragus' quest for vengeance hadn't been swayed over the years, and so he asked if King Vegeta was still alive. The looming tyrant simply shook his head and informed Paragus that not only had King Vegeta died long ago, but his son had died at the hands of the Third Saiyan. This Third Saiyan was a problem for the Empire, and so he beseeched Paragus to help him eradicate such a nuisance with the help of his son. Of course, should Paragus choose to refuse the offer, they can be returned to Vampa at once, with no terraforming done to the planet. The elderly Saiyan realized he had no choice in the matter, so he agreed to help King Cold in his fight against Kakarot. Broly throughout this whole conversation remained quiet, not showing any interest in what was being discussed. King Cold looked at Broly and asked, "Has this boy ever had a real fight in his life?" Paragus replied, "No." And so, King Cold said that Broly would train alongside him. He would need knowledge in order to fight appropriately. "I figure 2 months should suffice. Then we will pay our Saiyan friend a visit." Beerus was glad that he had listened in and reported back to Kakarot that King Cold had planned to betray him the whole time. He was preparing a warrior to fight him as they spoke. "What shall we do now, my lord? Should I make preparations for an immediate departure?" Kakarot thought about it for a moment and replied, "No."
His Saiyan instincts are kicking in.
They'd wait the 2 months that King Cold wants, but he told Beerus to go to the Galactic King and tell the king to prepare his forces for the overtaking of Cold's army. "No matter how hard I try to train you to be different from your Saiyan blood, it always boils when a challenge is put in front of you." Kakarot smirks and goes back to training. 2 months would be over before you know it, and so would come the fated battle. Finally, 2 months had passed. Beerus helped the Galactic King organize his army, and he returned to watching King Cold in case of any preemptive strikes. Since he was allowed to use his angel powers rather than hiding as a galactic patrolman, Beerus was in no need of ships or communicators at this time, and so he'd been out of touch with the patrol for months. But this was something he had to do. Beerus informs Kakarot and Whis that King Cold and his men were on the move towards Kakarot's planet. After that, Beerus returns to the Galactic Patrol headquarters. All that was left to do was wait for them to arrive on his doorstep. The ship landed and out walked King Cold. Shortly after followed Paragus and Broly. The tall emperor looked down at Kakarot and told him that his era had come to an end. A Saiyan that even surpassed the gods had been found, and he would take down Kakarot.
Ooh.
Despite him going on his grand speech, Kakarot's eyes locked with Broly's instead. The god of destruction walked towards the powerful Saiyan and eyed him up. No. Kakarot's only word to Broly was one of disapproval. He had no interest in fighting and destroying a mortal with potential, someone different than those ordering him. Before the word no even hit Broly's ears, Kakarot had blindsided him and knocked him out. King Cold and Paragus were in utter disbelief. The power of a god was far beyond anything they could even comprehend. "Don't worry, I only knocked him out. You two won't be so lucky." Paragus trembled and fell backwards while King Cold launched forward to attack Kakarot. His disappointment was immeasurable. With a single Hakai, he destroyed both King Cold and Paragus, but not Broly. "Have you taken a liking to that one, my lord?" Kakarot shook his head. He can tell the mortals with potential to benefit the universe from those who don't have such potential. Kakarot tells Whis to alter Broly's memories of today. Have him remember that his father and King Cold abandoned him. They can't have another mortal in search of revenge on the gods. Then, he tells Whis to get in touch with Beerus and the Galactic Patrol. They'll have a new recruit soon for Beerus to train. However, before he could contact Beerus contacted Whis. He was informing Kakarot that Moreau, a great evil that threatened the gods 10 million years ago, was free once again. But that will be a story for next week. We will cover Moreau in the video that will be the entire story of the God of Destruction Kakarot, remade and reimagined to work even better as a cohesive story than it does now. I'll see you guys then.
Okay, if I'm going to do any more freaking reactions to this stuff, I think I'm going to have to actually go and react to the whole DBS movie. I'm probably gonna end up only putting that completely on my Patreon, uh, and I'm gonna just keep one division of my Patreon. I figured, so because I was thinking of dividing it up into different sectors and everything, paying for, but no, the money doesn't really that matter. It's just getting it out there for y'all and a way that I platform that I can get it out for y'all without getting all the copyright strikes and everything. Because I want to do that for y'all. I'm gonna keep the price low on it and stuff, and just put out things like that I'm able to put out that y'all want me to. So I'll do that, and I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to do all this stuff for y'all because I really, really do have to buckle down on all my school stuff. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get into my program or anything. But I'm gonna try to get a couple of these out a week for y'all. So try to appreciate it. Give me a like or some, and comment below what y'all want and everything. Please, I really, really appreciate it because it really helps me out. It makes me feel better that knowing that y'all are actually appreciating it, and not just by views and stuff, but actually giving me a comment on what y'all want or what y'all thought and everything. So I appreciate that. Thank y'all. Till next time. Peace.